Hey, what's up, everybody? You're back with another episode of Walk-Ins Welcome. Special guest that I'm excited to introduce here in just a minute. But as always, we're here to help you triple your revenue. We want to do that by growing your clinic. What are we doing? More patients, better care, all right, repeat visits, and scale.
Yes,
that's all about Walk-Ins Welcome right there.
And we'll soon have that on the back walls. Soon.
Says, as our guest knows, we're pulling a play from our mentors playbook, and we're going to put panels up, and it's going to look amazing. But forget about that now. We have a great conversation lined up with Jonathan today.
Yeah, so Jonathan Mast, he runs Whitebeard Strategies. He is your AI guy. So we talk AI all the time, but his business is 100% dedicated to it. He wants to leverage AI to make more money for your business or your clinic. And Jonathan, we're very excited to have you on here because we were chatting offline, and there's so much stuff that we don't know about AI apparently. And so it's so glad to have you on, an expert. Your business is very new, as is AI. And so, but you basically have grown it very quickly. The results you're putting out there are amazing. Your keynote speakers in multiple places, like people are listening to you for sure. So thank you for coming on today.
Well, thank you for the invitation. I'm happy to be here, and hopefully we can add some value.
Man, say hello to the Walk-Ins Welcome audience and tell us one thing about you that nobody else knows.
Well, I debated whether, do you guys want to go, oh my goodness, and lose some people because I don't trust this guy? But, let's go as seedy as we can. So most of us in my 20s, I made some really bad decisions, and I was a great sales rep. But I decided I needed to learn marketing, but I did it in a very different way. I went on what I call a federally mandated sabbatical because I made some huge mistakes, and I spent 3 years. I spent 3 years in prison. True story. And no, I didn't kill anybody. It was a conspiracy crime. That's a whole separate topic. But I'm guilty. I did the stuff. I'm not trying to say that. But when I went in, I said I wanted to learn marketing. I had 3 years, and I was fortunate enough to be introduced to the dean of marketing from a major university. I won't say who to embarrass him, who was there on insider trading charges. And I spent the next 3 years learning about marketing.
From the best.
I did. I mean, literally, I learned marketing from him, literally first person. We would sit in his cubicle and talk marketing for hours a day. It was a terrible experience. Don't ever recommend it, but we turned it into something amazing. And it really started my marketing career. And thankfully, that was a few decades ago.
That's so fantastic.
We're not going to get a better story than that, I don't think. So you're criminally good at AI marketing.
Criminally good.
So I like that. I'm going to have to use that.
I like that. That's your new tagline. Oh man,
well, it's like you're stealing customers.
Yeah. That's right. Well, I don't even know where to go from there on that. You're right.
That was good. That's the
jaw dropper, the conversation stopper. No, man, we've made a good friendship over the past few years.
We have.
And in full disclosure, Jonathan and I met at Seven Figure Agency. So these are agencies that have hit certain milestones in their business, and they're looking to scale their agencies.
Yeah, they're all digital agencies. We all hang out down in Miami.
Right.
Have a good time. Josh Nelson, thank you for building all that.
That's right.
100%.
So one of the reasons I bring that up is to say when I first met Jonathan, he was not doing this. Right. So now Whitebeard Strategies is coming to play. I'm going to say it was like, I don't want to tell your story. I tell you what, tell me the story of Whitebeard Strategies. Let's do that.
Sounds good. Well, as you mentioned, when we met, I was at an agency that I'd founded back in 2010, was running with my wife and an amazing team of about 14, 15 people. And candidly, my entrepreneurial spirit combined with my ADD and my absolute love for AI got in the way. And I decided to step away and take everything I'd learned, a lot of it from Seven Figure Agency, and start again and then see if I could rebuild it faster. So in August of this past year, I decided to kick off Whitebeard Strategies. And yeah, we focus on teaching people how to leverage AI. I talk about 3 goals: save time in your organization, in your clinic, increase your profit margins, and deliver more value to your clients. And the great thing is we can do all 3 at the same time with AI.
All right. So there's a lot to unpack.
That's a bold statement, right?
Yeah, it's a bold statement. But here's the cool thing is we've watched you now do this over and over again to take a concept that it was fairly new, AI. I mean, obviously there's been software and stuff like that touched on it, dabbled with it. Mm-hmm. But I believe it was the end of 22.
November 2022 is the moment.
So November 22, we have ChatGPT goes live. And we talk about this, Jonathan. If you remember, it took 10 years for Facebook to get to 1 billion users.
Yeah.
It took TikTok 2 years to get to 1 billion users. And it took ChatGPT 2 days to get to 1 billion users. 2 days.
It's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah. So here you have that in 2022. You step in August of 2023 and start Whitebeard Strategies. And now you have like offers to buy and all these different kinds of things that are going on. You've helped tons of people, like you said, save time, save money, leverage this AI tool. So let's just start with the trends that you're seeing because it's going so fast. What trends have you seen? Let's just say over the past 2 weeks, like you were talking about.
Well, first, yeah, everything is changing at a breakneck pace with AI. There's new advancements coming out literally almost every day. At the same point, don't let that overwhelm you because the basics are maintaining and growing. So it's not like you have to keep up on absolutely everything. The biggest trends that we're seeing are in just allowing AI to impact our lives more by giving us more help. I believe AI is an amplifier. It amplifies skill. And it also amplifies weakness. In other words, if you don't worry about this coming and taking your job, AI is not going to take your job. People that are integrating AI into their knowledge may take your job if you don't.
Yeah.
But AI is not taking your job. And the key is the advancements we're seeing are allowing us to do different things. So when ChatGPT first came out, and I say that relatively ubiquitously for any of the tools, we could use it on our phone. That was great. That was no problem, but we had to type everything. Shortly after that, they introduced what they called voice. And now I can talk to ChatGPT and it will talk back to me. And sometimes it actually does talk back, just like my kids do. And then I can also now, they've got vision out there. So with vision, you've ever been at a webinar or you're in a conference, and we've been on at 7-Figure before, and the slide cocomes up and you're like, that's got the answer to my questions. I need that slide. And even if you're going to get it later, you want it now. Well, grab a picture of it with your cell phone and you upload it to ChatGPT and say, tell me what's on that slide, and it'll transcribe the entire thing for you. Simple things like that. We've also just recently come out with what are called custom. I haven't, but ChatGPT has what's called custom GPTs. And that allows you to now train these models with your information. So imagine as a clinician that you're out there and you want to train your staff how to respond perfectly to anything that can come up. And so you take all of your employee manuals, you take all of your policies and procedures, you take all of your marketing materials, and you upload them to ChatGPT in a private custom GPT. So not everybody else is going to have access to it. And you tell it, before you use your common knowledge, use our knowledge that I just gave you. And instead of having this massive binder of procedures and policies and proposals and everything else in front of you that nobody can ever find anything, so they never use it, now you've uploaded all that information into what we call a custom GPT, and your staff can literally go in and say, what's our policy on locking the door? And if that's in your policy, boom, just like that, here's what we do. Here's our policy for locking the doors. Or what's the procedure for turning off the lights at the end of the day? Or maybe not that. What's my proposal for shutting down the clinic at the end of the day? Well, instead of going through the binder and finding it, which nobody ever does, so they just kind of guess, now you can go into ChatGPT, and even better, you can do it on your phone. So if it involves walking around the clinic to turn off lights in this room, make sure this equipment's turned on or off, or vice versa, locking certain doors, they can literally be reading it right off their phone while they walk around the office. So those are just a couple of the things that are out right now. Amazing advancements. We're seeing huge advancements in things like audio and video. They're still not quite there. And yes, I have some naysayers that think we are. We're not quite there, but we're seeing some huge advancements. And that gives, clinics the ability for, instead of the docs having to get on camera, they'll literally, by the end of this year, I believe, be able to say, okay, let's record 2 minutes worth of video. And then based upon that video, we can now have AI recreate that to say whatever you want to say as the lead doctor. And instead of you having to take time away from seeing patients and set up a camera and everything else, you're literally going to be able to go, hey, we need to do a message about Thanksgiving coming up, and letting them know what our Thanksgiving hours, and we want that to be done by our lead doc. No problem. Type it in. It'll be created, and 30 minutes later, you'll have a 3-minute video, looks and sounds just like the key doc giving that information out that you can post.
So bringing that up, a lot of things that we hear from a lot of people is the fear of AI. And and when you kind of boil it down, it's the misunderstanding of AI, or they just don't get it. I'm curious because I know you've probably gotten lots of pushback here and there over time. What's the common fear that people have tied to AI because we lost a client recently out of a misunderstanding of AI. And
I think it's a good question. I think it differs by clients. I think, first of all, people assume that AI is cheating. And I don't know how it's cheating. You know, when I was in fourth grade, I couldn't use a calculator because I was learning, and I don't remember what grade, but I was learning how to do multiplication tables. So I couldn't use a calculator. But when I got into high school and I was doing trigonometry and geometry and all that, they told us to buy a calculator because we didn't need to take the time to do all that. ChatGPT, AI is a calculator. It's what it is. It's a tool. In and of itself, it's not evil, it's not bad, it's not good. It is a tool, like a tool that you have in your clinic. And it's simply a way to help amplify, as I said up front, the skills that you already have. It is never going to allow me, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, I'm not a clinician. It is never going to allow me to effectively treat anybody for anything, period. Other than maybe figuring out a better way to put out a sliver. That's about the only thing it's going to help me do. But if you are a doctor or you are a nurse or you're a clinician, it is now going to give you the opportunity to expedite what you do, to save time and make you more efficient. And I don't see there's any reason to be afraid of it, because it's kind of, in my mind, it's like the internal combustion engine. There were a lot of people that when that came out said, I'm never going to get a car. I like my horse and buggy. Mm-hmm. How many buggy whip factories have you seen around town lately?
And then we ignored zero. We ignored the history of the horse manure on the streets that was causing all sorts of problems.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, all kinds of things. So it's here, folks. We need to embrace it. Do we need to trust it unequivocally? No. In fact, I believe we need to be very involved in what we're doing with it. But it's a tool to help us amplify our existing strengths.
I can't remember where I heard this. I may have even heard it from you, Jonathan. I don't know. But it was likened to like a brick. I can take this brick. It's a tool, right? I can build, I can hit you in the face with it and crack your teeth out, or I can go build an orphanage. It's just a tool. The brick isn't
precisely
the thing. It's what you do with the brick that matters.
100%.
Well, look, you brought up a few things that step into softwares, right? So you were talking about ChatGPT and training a ChatGPT, and then you went into video and how you can train a video. It's funny, I saw Donald Trump, love him or hate him, I don't care, but I saw Donald Trump birthday, like happy birthday. It's going to be the best birthday ever, you know, that kind of thing. And it sounded and looked and everything just like Donald Trump, hair and all, you know, and I'm going, clearly that's not Donald Trump wishing some dude a happy birthday, right? So you have all of these. It seems to me like a plethora of softwares, and nobody really knows, one, which one to use, and two, which one's applicable to my business and my clinic. Mm-hmm. Let's unpack softwares just a little bit. What are you using? What's relevant? What's not relevant? Let's play that minefield.
So all your software developers are going to hate me, because my recommendation is really simple. If you're getting started in AI, you need to start with one tool. It's ChatGPT, and you need to pull your wallet out and you need to give them $20 a month. Give up your Netflix subscription or whatever. Trust me, ChatGPT is far more fun. You at that point have access to do most anything that you want. It's not going to recreate audio and it's not going to recreate video, but that technology is not there yet anyway. So we're getting ahead of ourselves if we go there. Once you use that tool and you learn how to use it and you learn how to do some basic prompting, and that prompting scares everybody. Prompting is just talking to the AI. It's like texting your buddy. Nick, if you and I are texting, it's no different. It's the same darn thing. But you're going to learn how to communicate with the AI, and you're going to learn where it's applicable and where it's not. And you're going to find out very quickly that all of these tools that you see that are for sale, most of them, by the way, are just lipstick on top of ChatGPT. They're using the exact same engine. And if they're not, they're doing something, they're doing automation that's specific for your business. And those may be applicable. But out of all the tools that are out there, guys, there is only one tool other than ChatGPT, Bard, and Claude when it comes to text-based stuff that I use. And Nick, you know I've been doing this a long time. Michael, you know that as well. There's only one that I pay for, and it's because it automates things for me and makes it faster. On the imagery, we can create imagery with ChatGPT now. It'll create great images. I like Mid-Journey better. So if you really are into high quality imagery, you might want to go Mid-Journey. But if you had ChatGPT and Mid-Journey, sign up for a free account with Claude, which is by Anthropic. You don't even have to pay for that one to get started. And between those three tools, you can do 99% of the things that you want to do and that will add value to your life and your business with just those three tools.
So talk about Claude a little bit. We know a little bit about it. We use it some.
Yeah.
But most people don't know what that means. You explain Mid-Journey pretty well. It's basically an image generator that does really good imagery. So what is Claude? Why would people want Claude?
So Claude's a direct competitor to ChatGPT, and that's what they call a large language model, and it's text-based AI. You type in instructions, and it gives you responses back. It's by a different company called Anthropic, so it's a direct competitor to ChatGPT. And what I like about it is the fact that it's a different engine that's underneath the hood. And so it acts very similarly. You know, I can drive a Ford and a Chevy, and they're both going to take me down the road, but they're going to do so slightly differently, and we each have our preferences. I don't care if you're a Ford guy, Chevy guy, or Dodge guy. It doesn't matter. But they're going to take you down the road. And both of these are going to do very similar stuff. Claude does not have quite the same number of capabilities. It can't search the web and things like that ChatGPT can do, but it's still a great engine, and it's fantastic for data analysis. Let's imagine you've got a bunch of patient reports that you need to go through and you need to fill out for the home office, and you got to figure out how to get all this data out of these reports. That can take hours, and it's drudgery. Well, you can now upload those to ChatGPT or Claude, but Claude's got a bigger, what they call data window, can take larger reports, and you can literally start asking questions of that report. Like, tell me how many patients came in between the hours of 9 and 11. And assuming that information's in the report, it'll find it and calculate it and give you a response back. Tell me, you know, which was our busiest day of the week last month. Assuming that data is in there as far as how many patients came in, you can literally query that in, and you don't have to go search through and see what day. No. You just ask it and it'll give you the answer. So it's fantastic for data analysis.
That can be used for so many things, because at the end of the day, we have access to all sorts of data. But if we can't present it in a simple way to understand it, it's kind of pointless. So that's really cool that it kind of just takes whatever you give it and say, well, here's what I'm seeing. That can make dramatic changes to your business based on that type of response. And 100%. You may never have known it until it was presented to you in a nice buttoned up way.
Well, let's get into how we can take, we know the technology's there. We've talked about ChatGPT, Claude. There was another one in there. I want to say it was
Mid-Journey. Bard's Google's, poor attempt to try to replicate that.
An effort was made, but
I am not a fan,
Gemini or something now.
It was so bad they changed the name.
Yeah, they had to.
I don't know why they came out with Bard. Like, why was that the agreed upon name?
My favorite use for Bard/Gemini is just for keyword research and Google Ads. That's the only application.
And it rocks at that. As badly really as it fails at everything else, it absolutely rocks at keyword research and ad stuff.
Exactly. Which, of course, for patient care clinics, that's a huge part of what we do. Is making sure that we're targeting the right keywords, the search volume matches up, and what are the competitors. And since it's attached directly to Google, it's pulling that data from the
and it is a fantastic tool for that. If you use it for that, you're gonna absolutely.
So let's look at some practical application for urgent care clinics, patient care clinics, retail healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
So I think where can somebody start? Step in, pull ChatGPT, and say, I want this to serve my clinic. You gave a really good application earlier, just in SOPs, but what else can we use it for that's going to really make an impact?
Well, obviously, I think SOPs are great. Data analysis is going to be great, but other things are just day to day. Every one of these retail clinics needs to have a social media presence, and it's hard to come up with new ideas of what to post and understand what questions we should be answering. But now we can go to AI, and I encourage you, if you're listening to the podcast, just do this today. Go, I run an urgent care facility. I run a patient care clinic. I run a retail healthcare clinic, whatever the case may be in Indianapolis, Indiana, or wherever you're at. I'm down in Alabama at the moment. Doesn't matter. Pick your city and let it know that you're looking to get people within what's the right circumference. Nick, you know better than I. What probably it's relatively small.
Somewhere between 5 and 10 miles. It's not a lot.
Yeah. So give it your zip code and tell it you're looking to reach people within 5 to 10 miles, and you need to come up with 10 social media topics and 10 questions that you can answer that the people in your zip code are interested in about urgent care. And guess what? You're going to get 10 of them. You don't have to use it to answer them. You already know the answer. But it's hard sometimes to think about what questions should I even answer because they don't seem natural to us. So that's one. Another one is email. How many of us have had to write email, and we know we should take more time to write an email specifically, maybe to respond in a different manner, but we don't have time. So we fire off a short email and we just hope it's going to work. Next, fire off that email, but before you press send, copy and paste it over to ChatGPT and just say this: proofread and rewrite for improved comprehension. That's it. And whatever you get back out, I'm going to tell you that 99% of the time is going to be 10 times better than what you wrote, and you're going to do it in 12 seconds instead of doing it in 12 minutes or an hour, or then just, if you're like me, going, oh crap, I'll get to it later, and pushing it off and then never getting the email sent out in a timely manner as it sits.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's funny that you bring up email. For me, let me back up a little bit. We all know there's lots of different personality types.
Yes.
Right. I have people on my team that want full length paragraphs and stories and like they want all the words that you can shove in there. They want it in there. Details. And it's funny because I'm not that person and I do this. And I told her I did it one time and she looked at me and she's like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. I took her Slack message and I threw it into ChatGPT and I said, summarize this into bullet points.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't going to read it. And it would have taken me longer to read it than to throw it into ChatGPT and summarize it for me.
Well, and Slack just is releasing that feature.
Yeah. Exactly.
They're going to build it into Slack where you can just summarize
Just summarize it.
Yeah.
The point I'm trying to make, though, is imagine you're in Athena or you're in Xperity. These are EMRs, by the way, Jonathan.
Yep.
And I'm in there and I have a client and I don't know their personality type and I have their whole chart and they need a response inside of there. I can say, I want long form, and then I want you to break this up into bullet points at the bottom or the top or whatever. And now I can feed both of those personality types. For me, I can skip right down to the bullet points and action items. And for the long form people who care about the details, they're going to be up in the details reading through it. Right. So
100%.
This is no doctor has time to do this.
Well, so I literally did this for my MRI results. They sent over the raw results and I didn't understand what it all said. And so I copy pasted in the ChatGPT. I said, can you please summarize this in layman terms? Mm-hmm. And it's like, yeah, you have this, this, and this. Like, oh, that makes sense now. Now I can have a conversation.
That's right.
Absolutely. You know, and we could go on and on. There's so many uses like that day to day, if you, any type of data, any type of communications you're doing across the board. And like you said, it can help you also reach your audience better. So if you've got a patient coming in and, you know, they're 84-year-old female and you know that maybe they've got osteoporosis, you can accommodate what you're saying to them based on that. And maybe you're brand new and you don't know much about that, but you see it on the chart and you're like, okay, how do I relate to this person? Just ask ChatGPT, give me 1 or 2 sentences on what it's like to experience osteoporosis, and boom, now when that person comes in, you can relate to them.
Bedside manner.
Yep.
Artificial intelligence, bedside manner on command.
Well, and again, remember, we can do this on our phone. And if you're a doctor and you're a busy doctor, you can even talk to it. You don't have to type it. You literally can just press the microphone and say, I'm going to meet with an 84-year-old woman who's got osteoporosis and her husband passed away last year. Can you give me 2 things to talk to her about so that I can have a better bedside manner? And as fast as I said it, you can put that in, you can press go. And while you're walking down the hall, before you open the door to her patient room, you can read what it says and it's give you 3 tips and you can walk in and she's going to think that you're the most amazing doctor in the world because you remembered all these facts about her and you were personable. And you don't have to spend a lot of time doing it. You can literally do that in seconds. And like you said, greatly increase your patient satisfaction.
I mean, and there's, I don't know about your clinic specifically that our listeners, you know, how they have their bedside manner set up. It's been my experience, even though we're in the South and everybody's got this great attitude, everybody's nice to your face. Like even the bedside manner here has not been stellar.
No.
Right. It's very,
it's cold.
So tell me how you feel.
Yeah. Like they're on the laptop. They're like
just looking down and looking up.
And they're just checking up and like, oh, you have diabetes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Oh, you don't feel okay. Like
I'm a little resentful that you looked at me and said, "Oh, you have diabetes." But we're gonna move past that because we have Jonathan online. All right.
He was talking to me. It's okay, Nick.
Well, sorry.
We're gonna switch gears for just a second because I think this is an important thing, and I think it's going to segue properly into more about Whitebeard strategies. With that being said, though, there's this new concept of like a chief AI officer. Right.
Yeah, that is real.
They're hiring. Clinics are doing this. Large businesses, especially, are doing this.
Paying top dollar.
Yeah, they're paying a fortune for a less than 2-year-old industry to bring you in not you specifically, but to hire for this role, right? And this role is all about how can we integrate AI into our systems and our processes to make all of our things more efficient.
Correct.
Can you talk about that for just a second?
Absolutely. No, it's a real thing. It's happening. And I'm proud to say I do a virtual chief AIO officer, and I've got 7 clients. It's a lot cheaper. I'm not going to sell my services, but it's a lot cheaper than paying somebody. The going rate, by the way, for a chief AI officer is somewhere between $250,000 and $400,000.
Oh, it's incredible.
So,
but at the same time, it's totally justifiable because
you just replaced 25 people.
You just either replace people or just made a process that much better, or you just increase revenue because you found holes in the system.
Exactly. Yeah. So that absolutely is a position that exists. And, does the average clinic need one? Probably not. But the average clinic could probably benefit from a virtual chief AI officer. And it doesn't have to be, that title, but somebody that understands business. So if you're looking for this, 2 things. Don't hire somebody that's an AI expert if they don't know business, because they're not going to be able to help you connect the dots together. There's so much in AI that's about programming, and that's where a lot of these AI experts, and I say that in air quotes, really live. They live in the programming side. There's nothing wrong with being a programmer, but that doesn't instill that mean that you know business. When you're looking for this, you're looking for a business executive level, a C-level executive who understands business, understands your industry, and also, like a chief information officer, understands IT technologies. That CIO is generally not the one working in the data center. They're probably capable of it, but that's not what they're doing. They're setting strategy, and they're looking at the business and understanding how do you leverage technology to grow the business and to support the business. And that's what the chief AI officer does as well. They're looking at the business and figuring out how do we leverage AI to do those things we talked about up front. Save time, not just for one person, but for your entire team. Improve profit margins. Why? Because we need to do that in today's economy. And at the same time, how do we better serve our patients? Because if you can provide a better experience in the clinic down the street with a different sign, guess what? When people have a choice, and they do, they're going to come to you instead. And that means your clinic's going to be busy while the other one's dead empty.
So I want you to pause this episode, and I want you to hit the back 30-second button about 2 times and re-listen to everything that Jonathan just said there, because he just gave you so many value bombs.
Yep.
In that one little, probably 45-second clip. That was huge. I can't wait to go back and listen to this just so I can repeat on that. That's huge. All right. So we're wrapping up the end of the episode, and this is important for me to say. As an agency, you have, like, when we talk to our clinics, you have an opportunity where you can either do your own marketing, you can bring your marketing in-house, or you can outsource your marketing for, a fraction of the cost, right? So that's our value proposition. Here's the thing with Jonathan and Whitebeard Strategies. You can go figure out AI. You can go discover. It's fun, by the way. I'm not going to lie to you. It's fun to discover the practical applications. I'm not telling you you're not going to have a good time.
Except when you say, can you please create an image of this pilot?
Stop. I'll show you that, Jonathan. Remind me, and I'll show you that picture later, because
I want to see it.
So funny.
It's disastrous. Anyway, you'll have a lot of fun doing it. I'm not even going to lie to you. But here's the problem: is it's going to suck time right out of your calendar and out of your life.
Yeah.
And you can hire in-house, and you can bring on for $250,000 to $400,000 a year an AI expert that comes in. They work exclusively for you. You don't need that.
And you're hoping you made the right hire the first time, so they don't wreck your business with AI that they didn't know what they're doing with.
Or you can bring on somebody like Jonathan and Whitebeard Strategies, where they've fleshed out the software. They've looked at the practical application specifically for your business. There's coaching side, there's workshop side, I believe you have an online course as well.
Correct.
So Jonathan, I want to take just the next few minutes, and I want you to talk about how you can help our listeners with AI.
Well, Nick, thank you. I wasn't expecting that opportunity. I was just hoping to add some value. But yeah, you're right. I mean, we offer a lot of different services. The best thing I can say is if you think and you're listening to this and you go, any of this makes sense, reach out and let's have a conversation. Let's chat. As Nick said, there's a lot of different things that my team and I do. It really depends on your business to what makes the most sense. At the end of the day, we're here to help you achieve those same 3 objectives I've mentioned multiple times. Save time, improve your margins, make more money, and deliver more value to your patients. If that's of interest and you want to learn how to do it with AI, let's have a conversation. There's so many different ways it can happen. Like Nick said, there's courses, there's masterminds, there's direct consulting, there's outsourcing. but I don't know what makes the most sense for you or if any of it does. Sometimes it's just a matter of joining my free group on Facebook where we've got 60,000 other business people in there and learning how to do some prompts. That's fun too. My wife always says, "What are you doing?" And she goes, "What are you playing with?" I'm working. She goes, "You're playing with ChatGPT." I go, "Yes, but it's my business now, so I'm not playing. I'm working, honey."
That's right.
I was gonna say, so that Facebook group. It's funny you say 60,000 because I remember a month ago it was 30,000. It's like to celebrate. We had 30,000. Now we're at 60,000.
Well, I was one of the original members when you first threw that up in our group. I went and joined immediately.
Yeah. As of the moment, we're at 60,900 and some members. It just tells me 60.9 thousand at the moment. So,
and you have to back out of that. And you don't have to answer this. You can if you want, but you have to ask the question, like, why do you think it's growing? Because
I think it's two-factor. One, my goal here, Nick, you know me. My goal is to deliver value. I believe that if I deliver value, the business will grow. I'm not worried about that. It'll come through. And so I'm focused in there on doing just that. We try to teach people and business people, and it's mainly business people in that group. It's designed for that, how to use AI prompts to do those three things we talked about. And that's our focus. We don't sell. We don't allow anybody else to sell. And the feedback I get from our new users is we love the fact that there's value here every single day. And we love the fact that nobody in here is trying to sell us stuff, at least not until the moderators catch them and kick them out.
I love it.
Nice.
Well, so I'm going to encourage you to go learn more about Jonathan and Whitebeard Strategies. One, join the group. It's free to join the group, and they're not going to sell you anything in that group. You can just go dip your toe in the water.
And it's if you want to know what's going on in AI, that group will get you there.
And you'll not know who anybody looks like because they all are like dolly pictures. Right? But Jonathan, if somebody wanted to get in touch with you directly, maybe they just want to pick your brain. I know for us, you did a value add where you created just a sample content to show us what it's like. Whatever you want to offer, now's your chance.
Well, if you're interested, you can reach me at whitebeardstrategies.com, or even easier, just remember my name, Jonathan Mast, jonathanmast.com/linktree. There's links there to the Facebook group. There's links to book time to talk to me on the phone. I don't charge for initial calls or anything like that. Just reach out and let's have a conversation and let's see what we can do to add value to your life. I've got a lot of different things I do, but let's focus on what makes the most sense for you and if I can add any value or not.
And to our listeners that don't have a chance to look online to watch the video, he has a Santa Claus level white beard. So it is complete, which means you cannot shave it.
Yeah, I know. I told my wife the great news of the new brand now. I've had the beard for about 6 years. Started growing it when my granddaughter was born, and she's 6. And I now that we have the brand, it's not going anywhere.
That's awesome. Now it's balled in. Well, listen, Jonathan, you've been a good friend, man. We appreciate you being on the podcast. Mm-hmm. We appreciate you just having a relationship with us as an agency and the value that you brought to our listeners today. I love it. So thanks for being on. Any parting words?
Everybody make it a great day. And thank you, Nick, Michael, for having me on. I'm so grateful.
We hope to have you on again soon. Thanks for joining us, Jonathan. Y'all go out and make it a great week. We'll talk to you soon.